Okay, I think we're live. All right, we're just gonna get Joe. There he is. One second. Okay, you're hopefully getting Joe here. Welcome, everyone. There he is. Awesome. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, if I could see me. How you doing, Carrie?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Today's live is building you up or tearing you down. And we're going to talk about people in your life who build you up and tear you down and what that looks like. So we hope you are going to join us. If you're here, please say hello so we know that you're here. We definitely would like everyone to participate in the comments and in the chat below. So if you hear something that you like, please give us the hearts, comment below. Let us know you're here, say hi, and we are looking forward to getting started. Joe, are you still with me?
I am. I'm excited too. Let's get to it.
Okay, good.
Thought you can hear me.
All right, no, I can hear you. You're good. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to talk about, let's start with what builds you up. So what does it look like when people build you up? So when I first thought about this, and we do have somebody joining us. Hi, welcome. So we're talking about what builds you up. So write in the comments about what builds you up. But something that I thought about was when people remind you of your strengths and capabilities. So, people are telling me, oh, you're so helpful, or you're a great friend, or you're really good at this. I always think when people, comment on my strengths or capabilities, that's something that helps build us up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about people who are willing to support you. Um, you know, Friends that I have that I could text at any time that I can just be like, look, something's wrong, and they say what's wrong, and they're there for me to either to vent or to provide advice, and just tell you things like I have your back, I support your decision. Is there anything I can do to help? Things like that. They're showing their support, helping to build up our relationship.
Absolutely. So important. So important. I think people that help to build you up or show their support say like, oh, I support that decision and I can help you with that. So
Yeah,
that's great. I also think somebody who believes in your individual uniqueness and your capabilities and contributions. Sorry. So thinking if somebody says to me, you have what it takes to get through this, or you're really thoughtful and smart, or you did a great job. Those are all ways that people can show me that they are building me up. So believing in me and my unique qualities and contributions.
yeah. It's funny you say unique. It's good to be reminded that you are an individual and that you have unique quality. Like that is a good thing. If I have sort of creative ideas or like something for my career, like that I'm thinking about going for or whatever, and you reach out to a friend and maybe you're feeling a little insecure about it, and they say to you like, no, I believe in you, you should go for that, like something like that. Again, that helps to just like remind yourself that you're an individual and like that you have this solid support system. And even in line with that, like supporting your independence, right? So supporting that I have my individual activities, my own life, my own friends, without it being like a complication or a strain in our relationship. If I'm, or if you or whoever is involved in a sport, right? And like, it's just you should know that your support system is on the sidelines, right? Like that they're maybe not physically there, but that they're encouraging you to do your own thing. And again, it's not causing a strain in your relationship. Like, how come, you're doing that when you should be spending time with me, or you should be like, you're your own person.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so important that each person has their own individual things that they're involved in, and that you're supportive of that person and what their own activities are.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree
Yeah.
with you, and I'd love to hear some comments from those watching about what you think it looks like for people to build you up. What do you think it looks like for people to build you up? So the other thing that came to mind for me was for when people have your best interest in mind. And I thought that this was really important. So someone that lets you know if you're off track, or if they're concerned about you, if they're concerned about your mental, physical well-being, or if they help you to try to like think through things by giving you a different perspective. I think all of those things, show that they're trying to encourage and guide you.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's my mom for me. Like if I'm going off track, it's like, have you thought about maybe not doing that or doing it this way or whatever? And it's like, it's I know it's supportive, even if I don't want to hear it. It is like necessarily supportive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. That's awesome that your mom is that person for you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, no comments yet about what it looks like when people build you up. And also, Joe, I can't actually see your face, but I hear you. So hope that's
Oh,
good.
that's been going on the
Like
whole time?
it's frozen, at
Oh,
least for me. But I don't know
okay.
if everybody else sees that. If you can let us know, that would be great. But anyway,
Hmm.
we'll just continue as this.
Roll with it.
So if you all who are watching, if you have comments about what it looks like when people build you up, we would love to hear your examples and thoughts on that. But okay, good. He's not frozen. That's good.
Oh,
All right. So
okay.
you're just frozen for me, which is okay.
Right.
You have a smile on your face, so that's good. But okay, great. So our next piece we'll talk about is what it looks like when someone tears you down, right? So for me, Joe, the first thing that I thought of is if somebody is belittling, right? If somebody makes me feel like I'm not good enough, or you know, is making me feel like I'm not worthy, or trying to diminish my self-worth, or they say something like you'll never be good enough at that, or you're
Yeah.
just not good at that, or anything like that. Any kind of belittling to make me feel badly about myself is definitely someone who is tearing you down. What do
Right.
you think?
And that's all true, and that's all sort of like the verbal aspect of it, like to verbally insult someone, like verbally like make a joke about them or whatever. But then there's also just dismissing someone's feelings or dismissing your feelings in a way that isn't necessarily verbal, but is just they're not showing support. They are ignoring you, not following through. All these like little things that, well, they're not even little things. They could be big, that show, like doing like the silent treatment, like they're not, they're someone who's not positively responding to your feelings. If somebody made a joke about you and you said that it hurt you, and they respond with, "Oh, I was just kidding. I was just joking." Well, they're not making an attempt. Maybe they were, but they are not making an attempt to actually hear out your feelings about why it hurt them. So that's dismissing someone's feelings, definitely big on like tearing down your relationship.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think too, like if you're like having an emotional reaction and someone is saying something like, it's not that big of a deal, right? All of that is kind of very dismissive of your feelings. So
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
would be someone who is not taking my feelings seriously.
absolutely.
Um, Yes, and we another piece to tearing you down is about encouraging harmful behaviors. So this shows such a lack of respect for you and your well-being. If there's any kind of encouragement of criminal or self-harming activity, whether that be vandalizing, selling drugs, theft, encouraging self-harming behaviors like cutting, for example, or telling you that you're fat, and encouraging an eating disorder, any of those kinds of things, somebody telling you to participate in anything like that, that's not good for you or your well-being,
Mm.
is a huge concern.
Right. Absolutely. And a lot of times maybe a relationship like that, you might see that person as your friend, and they might be encouraging these things in a way that seems like how a friend would, and it obviously may be difficult to navigate that kind of situation because they whether their intention is there or not, and maybe we'll get into that later what the intention is, but they're actively harming you and tearing down your relationship and tearing down yourself. Um, just another one going off of that too, like somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries, your physical boundaries, your emotional boundaries, your social boundaries, um, to completely ignore, especially when it's been said what my boundaries are. If I told you and then you insist on not respecting them, uh, there. How do you? You're tearing me down. It's the whole point of this, right? And how would, and so you could ask, like, well, then how would they know what your boundaries are? Well, they could ask you. They could ask. So, and like I said, if it's been said and they're still ignoring it, well, they don't respect you. They're not respecting the relationship. They don't respect you, and they're acting to tear you down.
Yeah, and Joe, we have a comment
Mm.
here asking about if you've been in a relationship with somebody, but then you've like broken up with them, and you still have feelings for them. That's extremely normal to have feelings for people that you've had relationships with, right? And it mentions trying to fix your own things, and I think that's important, is to put yourself first, right? So most importantly, are the most important relationships that we have are the ones that we have with ourselves. So putting yourself first is definitely the way to go.
Right.
So thank you for that comment. um, Another thing that we can talk about when you're talking about what does it look like for someone to tear you down is any kind of embarrassment, right? So I'm thinking publicly humiliating you as an example, and that doesn't necessarily have to be directly to you, but that could be like on social media, for example. If someone's going to make judgments about who you are, or lying about who you are, putting that information on social media or just in front of other people, anything that makes you feel badly or less than, and anything that they do to embarrass you would be someone who's trying to tear you down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the last thing maybe I'll say is that to part of tearing somebody down would be necessarily to go after their support system, right? Because that's who builds you up. And so somebody who is actively looking to tear you down, they may insult your support system. They may separate you from them, isolate you from them. If I said to you, Carrie, like about your friends or whatever, like, oh, don't listen to her, don't listen to him, he's not good for you. Um, she only gives you bad advice. She like what like just insulting them, but it's people that you trust and it's people that you like, people that you love. Um, it's a way to isolate you. It's a way to manipulate you in a sense, which I think a lot of times, especially in dating relationships, where one person in the relationship is trying to maintain control. Um, it's a grand manipulation tactic.
Yeah, I agree. So, how can we relate all of this information to dating relationships? And so, I want to ask everybody in terms of dating, what kind of person do we want to date? Do we want to date people that build us up or people that tear us down? So, feel free to comment on that. Um, and think about too, what kind of person do we want to be in the relationship? Um, do we want to be the person that builds each other up, right? And who do we usually show up as? Think about and reflect on what our role is in being the builder or the terror in this case. And in a healthy relationship, both partners build each other up. In an unhealthy or abusive situation, your partners tear each other down, right? So that could be in terms of a form of verbal abuse, like we talked about. We also mentioned different types of emotional abuse. We also mentioned isolation, for example. So yeah, those are all different ways that can show up. And sometimes, it's important to think about, that sometimes people can do both, right? Sometimes people can build you up in a relationship,
Right.
and also tear you down. So it's important to think about, what someone's actions are and what their intent of their actions are. So the intent is the purpose behind the action. And so think about whether the action is meant to build or support me, or if it's meant to tear me down, take me away from my support system, or is not respecting my boundaries. And understanding whether that person is intending or not to do harm. And sometimes that can be really difficult to navigate in these kinds of situations.
Right. Absolutely. So if you notice that someone is tearing you down, what would be your advice for that person?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you notice that someone is tearing you down, definitely try to stay away from them. Try not to engage with them. Try as much as possible to build boundaries as far as seeing that person and in your interactions with them. Reinforcing to yourself that what that person says or does not define who you are.
Right.
And that we all need to learn to be our own builders. And so we all have to take the responsibility to build ourselves up. If you have any concerns, obviously, that you're in an abusive relationship, call the National Dating Abuse Helpline number, which is 1-866-331-9474, or visit loveisrespect.org. If you're in one of our PowerBack schools and you want some counseling or support, we offer that information or those services for free. So you can contact us directly about that. And we do have another note coming in, so I just want to read that for a second. And any advice, if the person that I care about thinks sadly all the time, and I try to help. And so I think you can only help somebody so much, and
Right.
it comes to a point where they have to be willing to help themselves too. So I think that's a great question that you're asking, and it's very, very hard to navigate when that time is right where you can't be responsible for helping others, and when people have to take responsibility to help themselves.
And, just to this person's earlier comment too, saying that you're trying to work on your own things, just understanding too, is this person creating a space for you to be able to do that? We understand that they're having their own struggles, and that's important, and it's good that you want to be there to help. But if they're not creating this space for you to be able to work on yourself, then maybe this relationship isn't good for either one of you right now.
That's a really good point too, John.
Yeah.
So thank you for mentioning that. And I think, something it's important to, when we're thinking about building up and tearing down, so it's important to know who your support systems are. Who are those people that build you up, right? Because they're going to be those core group that's going to help you through your challenging times and challenging situations, and they're going to be able to support you through through what's happening and through life's challenges. So definitely, if you have those people in your life, shout them out, give them a thank you, let them know that they are part of that core group to help build you up, and to trust in them. And so we have another comment here. If the person that I care about is, oh, I think we mentioned that one out.
Yeah, that was when you read.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So if you have any topics that you want us to cover, please feel free to, or any questions that you want us to discuss, direct message us about that, DM us. Also, if you're watching this at another time, please type in the comments #replay so that we know that you watched this video, and be sure to comment on anything that you would like to about, so we can hear from you as well. So we hope you enjoyed the live today, and thank you so much for watching.
All right. Thanks, Carrie.
All right. Take care, everyone.